Hashirama is not only one of the strongest, but also one of the best shinobis in the entire Naruto verse. And when I say best, I mean that he has the right intentions in mind and a solid view of the world and what he has to do to make it a better place. Before we explore that, however, please subscribe to this channel and like this video to help me out, and if you want to receive more videos like this in the future. Imagine if you are a child and everything you've ever known in your life is war. You've been fighting in the battlefield since you remember, since your first memory came to your mind. You are fighting against ninjas from another clans, killing each other, seeing people dying every day from your own family. That has to be very traumatizing for anyone. Also, imagine that your father is a complete asshole to you that disregards the safety of you and your brothers, and he actually actively gets your brothers killed sometimes because of it. And he also beats you and mistreats you and all that. Just a terrible life for any kid. And now imagine that the only friend you ever made that wasn't one of your brothers happened to be your worst enemy without you even knowing. He is from the clan that fights every other day against your clan, and they have such a bloody history against each other. So many members of each clan killed the other clan's members, and it's just this nasty history. And this boy turns out to be a great guy who you become very good friends with. Then it turns out, in a fateful day, your father gives you the mission to lure your new friend so that he can come up and murder him. However, you see that the father of your friend tried to do the exact same thing. Luckily, it didn't work. And on that day, Hashirama sees Madara awakening the Sharingan and sees his friend leaving him and then becoming essentially sworn enemies for life. Madara and Hashirama then fight for decades without any breaks. They fight every other week. It's very much implied that they had countless bouts. None of these bouts had a clear victor, but it seems Hashirama was always coming out on top. At least that's what's implied in the narrative. But even though you've been through a very terrible childhood and your friend became your worst enemy, your dad was not a very good person, and even though the enemy clan, the clan your best friend became leader of, has just such a bad history with your clan, you always maintained hope that one day there could be peace and that kids wouldn't have to die on the battlefield anymore. You remember a promise you and your friend made back then, a promise to found a place where kids could live life like kids should. And you still never gave up on that dream. Every time you fought your best friend, every time Madara and Hashirama fought, Hashirama always offered peace and was always turned down because Madara was just a very stubborn guy as well. But you are Hashirama Senju. You wouldn't give up. Even though you didn't know anything except for grief your entire life, you still have hope. And eventually, you beat Madara Uchiha. And then, instead of accepting your brother's orders to just finish him off, you do something else. You offer Madara Uchiha peace once more, offering the Uchiha clan a truce. Madara refuses at first, and Hashirama is obviously concerned, but he says, Madara, look man, what can I do? What can I do right now to make sure you will settle for peace at this very moment? And Madara says, you either take your brother's life or your own life. Now, it would be very easy for Hashirama to say, oh man, this is just nonsense. Get out of here, Madara, I'm just gonna kill you off. But Hashirama is above that. He really thinks peace in the shinobi world is far more important than his life. And of course, he wouldn't kill his brother. That's way too bad. He would never hurt his brother. He lives to protect his brother as well. He doesn't think twice. He is going to take his life to make sure peace happens. But Madara stops him. Madara sees the selfless act, the absolute Chad act Hashirama was about to do, and says, okay, you convinced me. We can settle for peace. And so the Uchihas and the Senjus make this peace agreement and found the Leaf Village. Hashirama becoming the first leader of that village, the first Hokage. And by doing that, Hashirama settles an amazing precedent. A precedent that says that alliances between shinobi clans work and actually are very beneficial to everyone involved. So by being persistent, by being this Chad, Hashirama Hashirama creates the ninja world as we know. He creates the village systems when he settles for peace with the Uchihas, and if he wasn't stubborn, if he had lost hope at any moment, if he had wavered in his convictions and killed Madara instead of being selfless to no end, the shinobi world would still be a terrible place and there would be still wars all around, killing children everywhere. Hashirama then establishes the village as a very powerful entity with the ninja academy, and he ranks the shinobis so that they wouldn't be sent to missions that are way above their pay grade, and so they don't die uselessly like he saw many of his clan members die in the war, including his brothers. Hashirama's saying is that no matter the age, there will always be war, and that may be true to a certain extent. There will always be conflict, but the way the conflict is fought is very meaningful. Hashirama allowed the world a chance to recover from decades of unending war into a village system that could organize the people and actually provide a better life to everyone involved, allowing children to grow up and become adults, evolving society because less people die so young, more people will get intelligent, more people will get developed, and more developments will happen in society itself. Of course, that wasn't the only Chad-like act Hashirama did. Hashirama was so powerful that at one point in time, he had control over 8 of the 9 tailed beasts. The only one he didn't have was the one tail, the Shukaku, which is the least powerful one anyway. So this guy was so strong that he could just keep every single tailed beast under his control by sheer power and strength. Because he's not an Uchiha, but he doesn't have a Sharingan to just control it through genjutsu. He has to punch them down into submission, essentially. And so, to make sure Konoha didn't hold the entire power in the world, and trying to make peace with every single nation, trying to make them his allies, he shared the tailed beasts with the main nations in the world. He just gave away the most powerful assets you could possibly ever have in the Naruto verse. He wanted to make sure no one would go to war with him. He wanted to make sure all nations had a parity of arms. Maybe he was naive doing that, but his selflessness is just unrivaled. He also told Madara he should be the second Hokage, and I truly believe he meant that. He wanted Madara to be the second Hokage because Madara was, first of all, the second most powerful ninja in the village by far, and he was the leader of the Uchiha clan, one of the most important clans in the village, so it should be very reasonable to assume Madara would become the second Hokage. But of course, due to political reasons, Tobirama was chosen, and that was a problem later. Maybe if Madara had become the second Hokage, things wouldn't have gone so wrong in the end. Unfortunately, Madara is lost to darkness, and Hashirama has to face him once more, this time in a much more large-scale duel, as the powers of the two of them increase exponentially, Madara using the 9 tails, and Hashirama having to use his Sage Mode and his massive Buddha statue to fight the majestic attire Susanoo. It's an epic fight, a fight so legendary that their statues were engraved in the battlefield, and the place where they fought was known thereafter as the Valley of the End. Hashirama was once again forced to do something unthinkable. He had to kill his best friend. He had to kill Madara to ensure the safety of his village. Would he be selfish and save Madara? No, Hashirama isn't selfish. Hashirama will handle the pain of killing his best friend. He stabs Madara in the back, and with conviction he says, "I'll protect the village, no matter who will have to kill to do that." And Hashirama's legacy lives on way after his death. He's such a powerful character that the author of the series never specified how he died, because it would probably be very unsatisfying, because how can you kill this character anyway? Hashirama Senju, after creating the shinobi world as we know, was rightfully deemed as the God of Shinobi. A god is a creator, and that's what Hashirama was to the core. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and also like this video if you enjoyed it. If you want to see how Hashirama died, click on the video right here. Thank you for watching.